All right, folks, good afternoon. Let's get airborne with our primary live trade brief. Yeah, Elon Musk, man, the guy never fails to almost on a daily basis do something to his stock and the market in general, or also to his reputation with the tweet he just sent out a little while ago. Funny stuff, man. Oh, not funny if you're short the stock. That's one of the things we're going to talk about today is some of these, the limousine liberal or, I'm going to call them popcorn stocks, whether it's Facebook. We're going to cover what Facebook did yesterday, what's going on there. Also Twitter, Apple, all those limousine liberal stocks. I call them popcorn stocks now because that's what you should be doing if you're trading them. I mean, you can knock yourself out if you want to trade them and potentially make money. Like I said, since October, you need to put all that firepower into Amazon, and we're looking at some a really good one-day trade in Amazon. Before I finally got anybody still in the Amazon. If you're in weekly options, are you still in the Amazon weekly bull put spread? I just get out of mine. I got 1860. I got about an 83% profit. So very, very nice. I mean, if you want to hang out, knock yourself out. We're really in this hold your nose rally right now. It's absolutely crazy. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the this is good. I mean, yay and great and everything like that. But I know I was a couple of seconds late because I was literally hanging up from an institutional call where everybody's looking at each other going, who's putting new money into this market right now? There's a third to almost half of stocks in the S&P 500, the Dow, even the Russell that aren't even participating in this quote rally. So it's really interesting times that we're in. But I'm going to I don't need know if I need to well, and not just the Chinese. Who's powering this rally right now, guys? The companies themselves. This reminds me of a year and a half ago. I don't want to jump around too much, but a year and a half ago, what was powering the rally? Stock buybacks. Companies buying back their own shares. So I don't think I need to send out a text alert to close that Amazon trade. I sent it out yesterday, but my math was wrong. But right now, folks, looking at mid-market on that, it's you're looking at $1,900 in a day. So if you're new to Top Gun Options, and you're in a month-to-month, like we talked about, there's almost 19. That's almost your annual defensive membership with a one-day Amazon trade. Very, 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 very happy with that trade. We've been, and knock on wood, man, like I said, we've had, what was it, two losing weekly Amazon trades in this year. It's August, man. My son's heading to college in a couple weeks. I can't believe the amount of money we're banking here on Amazon. Very, very happy of it with our Amazon. So I'm not gonna blast out a text. If you're still in it, knock yourself out. Like I said, folks, go on, take the money and run. For the new folks, you have to have your own SOP that says when you're going to take upside profits. We're also going to talk about an SOP where you need to maybe either adjust a trade or eject from it. I mean, we'll take a look at VXX here in a little bit and volatility. This is some good stuff. Yeah, guys, I mentioned that at the beginning. Tesla and his tweet about maybe going private. I got to be honest with you, folks. That's the investor relations. Unless the investor relations guy or woman was sitting right next to him when he wrote that, they have to be going apeshit. That is if he's joking and you're short the stock, I mean, you could be. There's a lot of legal stuff. Remember months ago when he sat there and said, "Hey, I'm bankrupt." Oh, April Fools. That's not funny when you're a shareholder and your mom and pop or little old lady in tennis shoes and you lose money because of the CEO's tweets. He's got a fiduciary duty, a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, not to him. And like I laughed about yesterday, people, Facebook, why invest with a CEO who looks right into the camera and goes, "I don't care about profitability." You don't? Well, then you're fired. Your job is to make money. My PR lady sent me an article. I forget what the name of the publication is. I answered. It's obviously a millennial or a snowflake publication because like it was all, how do you get started investing? And, like 4 basic questions. And then something about ethical. How do you know if your investing is ethical? And I'm like, I literally wrote, I don't give a shit. I'm like, you ever hear the word charity? I'm like, if you're investing to make money. If you want to invest to do good, donate your money to charity. It was funny. My PR lady sent it back. She's like, we might want to tone this down. I'm like, well, it's the truth. But anyway, guys, so the weekly options trade on Amazon's looking pretty good, and then we're gonna let's go ahead and get airborne with our brief. Real quick to the new members, though, as I've covered, just really quick around the site. Make sure you're jumping in the underneath the Full Throttle tab. Underneath the Full Throttle tab, you have got to be watching these training sessions. Now, if you're relatively new to options, go back to session 1. We did these in July, man. Like end of June, beginning of July was our last Full Throttle session with new folks. So this is pretty current content, but I got to be honest with you. Guess what? A covered call was a covered call in 1982 when options came out, when calls came out, and it'll be a covered call in 2000 or 3002. So the only thing that really changes in each one of these training sessions that I do is the real world application. As you guys know, as Shrek can attest to, and a lot of the other military guys in here, we never did a training exercise without kind of a real world application. Now, maybe we called it, hey, we're going to attack country orange today because we didn't want to, really maybe offend people or let countries know that we were doing exercise against them. But, I don't do an Iron Condor session without talking about, hey, some real world applications. Exactly. So make sure you go underneath the Full Throttle tab and start watching those lessons. Like I said, we're not going to do our next live training probably until the week of the 20th or the last week of August. Like I said, Matthew's heading up to Norwich. I think we're flying up next Wednesday, and I'll be up there 3, 4, 5 days. They got parents events and stuff like that. So I'll probably the week after that. Just keep an eye on your email, and I'll let you know when the next live briefs are. So get into your manuals. I remember before I ever started flight school at Pensacola, I got there like a month early. I went to the student control office. I got all my books early. I read for a month. I didn't even know what the hell I was reading. All I did was read, and eventually stuff started sinking in. So if you don't know what a long call diagonal is or double vertical, watch the session 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and it'll start to make sense. Okay. So, Rick, I don't yet. That's on my list of to-dos is our next live conference. I have a couple phone calls into my some buddies at the SIBO, and they're trying to figure out when we can get classroom space and do a tour. So hopefully our next live event, we'll be up in Chicago, man. Looking forward to going to Gibson's and getting a nice big steak in the Viagra Triangle there. If you're from Chicago, you know exactly where I'm talking about. I was going to answer you before we got started. It's right here. So, like 3 or 4 people ordered a copy of my book last week. Some of the new folks. Here's the link. If you want to get a signed copy of my book, I'll drop it in the mail literally today. You can go to this link here. But yeah, looking forward to that. Chicago would be great. We're definitely not doing it like in the winter. It's one of the reasons I moved from Chicago to beautiful Fort Lauderdale and Boca down here. So yeah, so here's the link to order a copy of my book. Hey, if you're, who was it, Werner? No, somebody, whoever lives like in the middle of, like on a mountain in Sweden, it costs like $60 to mail the damn book. So if you're international, we might throw like $10 on there. So make sure you go heavily armed. That's awesome. Yeah, we're going to talk Raytheon. We're going to talk about the XLE. We're going to talk about China. Let's go ahead and get airborne with our brief, though. The president coming out pretty strong today in a couple tweets and some comments. We're back with the Iranian sanctions, man. The oil, we're seeing the XLE with a nice pop today. What's XLE doing now? We have a great looking condor. Iron Condor on the XLE. It's up 1% today. Man, that's looking, we're looking super. Look at that. Look at this XLE. Look at our Iron Condors. We've been printing, doing the Lord's work with our Iron Condors. This is absolutely awesome. So, you bet, Rick. Absolutely. So, oil's going to be an issue. I didn't agree with the president. What was it, last week? Seems like a year ago. Or was it 2 weeks ago? My God, man. When the president said, I'll meet with him anywhere, anytime, I get what the president was saying when it comes to, death and war and potential conflict. Why wouldn't we sit down in a room and try and figure it out? That's awesome. But it did look a little weak because it gave this freak show the ability to sit there and go, no, we're not going to talk to that guy. But that's there's a method to Trump's madness. Now, if Trump wants to turn this guy into hair, teeth, and eyeballs, he can and say, hey, man, hey, liberals and peaceniks, I said I'd sit with the dude anywhere, anytime and talk to him and try and figure it out. He said no, and now I'm going to wipe him off the face of the earth like he's threatening to do to us. So Iran and its oil buyers prepare for return of U.S. sanctions. And in this headline, you can read kind of the whiz subtext, which is a big FU from China. China has more or less said, hey, not only are we going to continue buying oil from Iran, we're going to up our purchases. So FU, Donald. So the trade war and the potential ugliness keeps going forward. I haven't heard boo, man. China launches personal attack at arrogant, deceitful Trump. We are prepared to fight to the end. Does Steve Mnuchin, Larry Kudlow, Peter Navarro, not one of these dudes has said we're in a room and we're going to and we're talking. We're not talking to China. This is why, if you got the sit rep today, is everybody getting the sit rep? Make sure you are on the list, because it doesn't, unless you sign up for it, it doesn't automatically blast out to you. I don't want to have a shitload of people unsubscribe from our list here. So let me put that link in here. Guys, if you're asking tactical questions about like FXI or VXX, you're way ahead of me, folks. Remember, we don't get tactical until we do our strategic brief and our operational brief. Let me answer VXX immediately. I'm not touching the trade. So if you want to roll it, you can roll it. The answer is I'm not doing anything with that. And you should know why. And if you don't, I'll explain it in a little bit. But let's stay on track here, according to our brief. Kudlow says Trump won't back down from China's $60 billion response. It's weak. Larry Kudlow was brought in from CNBC and, to be the adult with China and the market whisperer. We're not going to have a trade war. Everybody just relax. I'm Larry Kudlow. Now Larry Kudlow's sounding like Donald Trump. He's given a couple interviews where he's like, China's weak, man. We have some airspeed to fight this thing out. So, here's why I bring this up. Look at this market. Potential trade war. Whoa, maybe a trade war. Oh my God, we might be in a trade war. We're in one. So, obviously, even if you're new, you heard me during Full Throttle Week pound this saying into the dirt. The market only cares when it cares. The market don't care right now. The market does not care that we are in a full-blown trade war with China. The market does not care that Iranian sanctions are kicking in. Remember, folks, when Barack Hussein Obama, the Manchurian candidate who bows to mullahs, lifted those sanctions, they had access to capital markets, trading gold, bullion. It was game on for them. Now they can't, or at least they allegedly can't. This is it's madness. So when you see something like this, the market can remain irrational longer. You can stay solvent. So in the sit rep today, what did I call this rally? It's a hold your nose rally. You bid it up and you enjoy it and everything like that, but you have got to be hedged or tredged, so to speak, as we call it here at Top Gun Options, for when, not if, the music stops. Markets don't do this, folks. I mean, God, January's kind of aged off the radar here, but remember the January rally? Here was December. Here's the January 2018. And what happened in February? That. So it's not a matter of if, but when we're going to come back to earth here. And what's coming up on the radar? We're done with earnings. Okay. Yeah, strong. Here's the operational headline. Let me skip a little bit of the, let me put some of the, the strategic stuff to bed here. You ready? U.S. stocks boosted by robust earnings. Earnings growth has pushed the S&P to its highest level since when? When I just drew the big, massive yellow arrow straight up. Since January. Since January. Despite What? Escalating tariff threats from the U.S. and China. And they didn't write Iran up here and sanctions. So the headline makes stocks go higher. The sub-headline is why you're here at Top Gun Options, man. So this is great. Yay! This is the rally. This is the hold your nose part, guys. I'm telling you, the market's going to care again about the trade war. It's going to care about the sanctions. When, Wiz? I don't know. That's why we throw on some bullish volatility trades maybe out a week and a half or out the next Friday. And you keep kind of leapfrogging these things. So when, not if, the market wakes up, you can make a little bit of coin. And what do you do with that coin? Or what would I do with that coin? You throw it back into these. Now, if you're new, folks, take a quick screenshot of this. I'll probably do maybe a separate welcome aboard brief for you guys, but look at this. Take a screenshot of this. So, John, that's a great way to put it. John's like, you know when the volatility is going to return, Wiz? When they return from the Hamptons. He nailed it. Absolutely nailed it there, John. It is. It is. I know a lot of people run around the Hamptons. My sister's got a place in the Hamptons next to Bon Jovi. Her new place. I've never been there. Like 5 years. So I'm a good brother. Anyway, here's your Jan 20s, man. Here's where you should be. When do they return? The kids start going back to school in like mid-August. You know, even Gordon Gekko, right, in the movie Wall Street had a kid. So sell in May and go away, right? They go to the Hamptons and then they head back when the kids go to their private schools. So these are our Jan 20 longs, right? And then I prefer to stay in my lanes and trade the front months in these names, right? We're going to cover a bunch of these today. We're going to cover XLE. We're going to talk about the FXI down here. CSX is in another portfolio, but that thing's just the gift that keeps on giving, man. Just keeps heading higher here. So, okay. Exactly. I'd love to have a live event up in the Hamptons there. But this is almost like a short squeeze headline here, folks. Companies set to buy back $1 trillion worth of their shares this year, and that should keep the market afloat. Who said that? Goldman. So in addition to yay strong earnings, the boo could be trade war. Remember all the liberals and everybody frothing at the mouth, folks. A trade war or tariffs is nothing but a tax, and it's going to be a drag on earnings, and it's passed on to the consumers. Oh, really? Okay. Iran. We also have a potential government shutdown. Donald Trump has been a road warrior for the past couple of weeks. He's been up in, where was he? Up in Pennsylvania. Where was he? Ohio. The dude's been, so we have an election coming up where the president has already said, I got no problem shutting down the government if you don't fund my border wall. We're going to love that. Other Rick, yeah, they did. Goldman predicted a market drop in 2018. Goldman also predicted Hillary Clinton would win. We got both of those predictions right. They got both of them wrong. So you have to stay hedged, folks, and we'll talk about VXX here in a little bit and also the VIX. I've told you my old partner in Peak 6, or the guy that ran the firm, Wiz, whenever you hear me say this is nuts when I'm sitting at my desk trading, turn around and pay attention to me. This is effing nuts that volatility is this cheap. And this is the great time to get long volatility. Oil. Oil rises as U.S. sanctions on Iran take effect. Why would oil prices go up, Wiz? I thought what did I tell you 2 months ago? That, actually it's this. I actually lived in Saudi Arabia. I was stationed there, lived in outside of Riyadh. It's KSA, right? It's the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Why are oil prices going up, Wiz? I thought 2 months ago you briefed us that the Saudis said what? If we can stick it to Iran, we're going to open up the spigots and flood the market. Don't worry about your Iranian sanctions. We'll cover their production. Well, if you're smart, you read the sub-headline before I read it. Prices also boosted by what? An unexpected decline in Saudi Arabian oil output. So the Saudis a couple months ago said, hey, don't worry about it, man. We got you covered. I thought you guys had our backs here. So It's an unexpected output. It's not a drop in the output. They said they're on it. Okay, so we'll get into our XLE here in a couple minutes here. So this is why this is why we love our iron condors. We closed one what? We've been having like these $4,000 iron condors for like 2 or 3 months in here that have been awesome. We got, I think one of them, we had a bad bear call spread here, but I put on a repair trade and that ended up, I think, being a net negative $1,000 or zero, whatever. We've been doing some great work in XLE. So you'll see this pop here in XLE. What are we up over 1%? And then when Saudi Arabia in a day or two says, yeah, we're cool, we're going to keep pumping, the thing's going to head back down. So we'll take a look at our XLE trade in a couple minutes here, but really, really nice looking trades in XLE. So this analysts widely expect more than 1 million barrels of Iran's 2.5 million barrels a day of crude could be at risk if full U.S. sanctions are implemented. Not everybody thinks the U.S. will implement sanctions to target Iran's oil exports. This person, Norbert Rucker, is retarded. If you don't think Donald Trump is going to hit them with the full force of sanctions, he did it to North Korea, folks. We don't believe he's going to do that. And then he did. So oil volatility is going to increase. It's going to ebb. It's going to flow. But I think net oil just kind of keeps channeling around here. Unless, remember what I say about iron condors, man. They're great until when? They're not, right? So if the market knows that the XLE likes to channel, you really don't get paid a lot of premium. We have been lately getting paid a lot of premium because there's a lot of potential volatility. Iran sanctions, Saudi Arabia, Libya, or rebels go blow up some refinery, the thing spikes, it comes back. But iron condors are great until when? They're not. This was okay. This was a lead into an OPEC meeting. I think we just traded bull put spreads on the way up. So the XLE usually has a major move when there's a major move. Iran, breaking news, Iran has mined the Strait of Hormuz. Oil's up to $300 a barrel, the XLE will pop. I don't see a massive drop coming anytime soon, especially with the winter coming. So we'll talk about the specific XLE trade in a couple minutes here. Tactically, let's get a little less operational and more tactical. We're going to get some inflation numbers, PPI, core PPI, and then CPI, Consumer Price Index, on Friday. Now, this will give us a little bit of insight as to what Mr. Fed is going to be doing, Jerome Powell, for the rest of the year. I think we're 2 rate hikes for the rest of the year. I think he's going to be like Alan Greenspan. I know I'm aging myself, but remember when Alan Greenspan, does everybody know that, who is Alan Greenspan married to? Do you guys know who Alan Greenspan is married to? Anybody know? Let's see who gets the gold star, the first one. Arthur got it. Arthur, most of you do. Andrea Mitchell, Harry, not me. Andrea Mitchell, that hack from NBC News. She's so-called a senior journalist. She's a liberal hack, and she's married to Alan Greenspan. Alan Greenspan did what? It was essentially a flight of stairs when he raised interest rates. It was the market knew what was going on, and it was nice. So I think Jerome Powell is going to do the Alan Greenspan, kind of get us on a nice flight schedule. He's not going to do the Ben Bernanke. My God, man, it seems like forever ago, 2013, when we were doing quantitative easing and Operation Twist and buying. And we loved it, though, because remember when we were going to start to taper, we really started trading volatility. Holy crap, this might be the Fed meeting where Ben Bernanke starts the taper, and the VIX would go through the roof, even though the market was going up. And then once the dude came to the microphone and said, no, we're not going to taper, volatility would smash, right? Good stuff. So, Brad, that is interesting. I mean, he spoke the world of Jerome Powell when he nominated him, right? Well, that's what's funny about Trump, man. Once your ship sails with him, you're done. Look at Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions was one of the first big-name Republicans to support him. He was senator at the time, right? So, and now Donald Trump hates Jeff Sessions. Donald Trump does not want higher interest rates, man. That might put an old crimp in Donald Trump's rally. He does not like it. And he was not too nice about the Fed head. What was that, Brad? It seems like a year ago, but I think it was like 3 weeks ago he started pounding on the Fed, which ain't necessarily super nice. All right. Here's from I got, even though I'm not in these positions, they impact the market, so I have to brief you on them. I can't get over how this guy looks like Data from Star Trek. It's seriously disturbing to me. I think the guy is not of this earth. I think he is not human. He is Data. So, but look at this. For Facebook and Zuckerberg, avoiding testimony in share case could cost $20 million an hour. So he's getting sued finally by a dude like me who says, hey, as soon as the words, I don't care about profitability came out of your mouth, I'm going to sue your ass. He does look like a reptile. What was that show in the 80s? V, right? Everybody remember that show in like the 80s or the 90s? It was V. He looks like one of those things. I get $20 million an hour might not be a lot of money for him. It adds up to a business. It's like the Eurozone fine, when the Eurozone fined Google $5 billion. Guys, that money comes from somewhere, and this just isn't good. Then look at this news from yesterday. This is, again, why I call these popcorn stocks. I just sit here, eat my popcorn going, are you shitting me that this is – I thought this was The Onion. I thought this was a fake headline. Facebook to your bank, where you bank, give us data on the people that bank there, and we'll give you data on our users. You can't make this shit up, folks. This happened. This is what they want to do. This is the same – what? So Facebook has talked about a feature that would show its users their checking account balance and stuff like that. So I got to be honest with you. What is it, 23andMe? If you give, and I've already heard that 23andMe is starting to sell like your DNA. Unless you read the 80-page agreement, I think my older brother's like, hey, Matt, we want to do this DNA thing for the family. I'm like, you can kiss my ass. My brother's name is John, but we call him Bucky. I'm like, hey, Buck, you can kiss my ass. I'm going to give my DNA to a company. So if you feel comfortable giving your banking data to I can't, folks. I almost don't even, I can't spend any more time ranting about it because it's shocking to me. And for all of you who are new, I'm going to use his language. I know I'm a sailor. You ready for this? What did Mark Zuckerberg, when he started Facebook, say about people who gave them their information? You ready for this, folks? In 2004, I was flying a Hornet in the Fort Worth. I was speaking for Afterword. You ready for this? He said to his buddy, he's like, hey, man, if you need any information about anyone at Harvard, just ask me. And his buddy's like, how? He's like, I have over 4,000 emails, pictures, addresses, social security numbers. His friend, what? How'd you manage that one? People just submitted it. I don't know why they trust me. Dumb fucks. I'm going to let that sit there because it seems like every new Full Throttle class, I get like 3 or 4 people who are like, he said it. These were instant messages that were part of a court case. He called anybody who gives him their data a dumb fuck. So if you want to, we are our own worst enemy, Mark. That's why I try and wean myself off of this stuff. If you want to sit there and invest in Facebook, God bless you, man. I love it. I love when people make money. I don't care how you make money. I'm happy. Yay. It's so funny. People were like, Wiz, you're telling us to dump Facebook call sucks. 3 months later, the thing absolutely implodes. It still hasn't filled the gap yet, folks. This is approaching a very critical, here's about half the gap. It's either going to do this or it's going to get back on its horse. And if it does and you want to invest in it, I wish you the best. For the last time, it's a popcorn stock. The reason I brief you on it is because it does impact the overall market. And guess what? It impacts other stuff. Alex Jones. I'm no Alex Jones fans. I think he's weird. He's a weird fringe right dude. YouTube threw him off. YouTube. following Apple throwing him off, and the same day that Facebook did. Facebook, Apple, and YouTube remove. And look at this lady. She's an Asian woman running for Congress in like California. She's a conservative. Her Facebook page got blocked because of hate speech. Ladies and gentlemen, the worst part about, and this is why I laughed. Everybody remember his testimony where he sat in front of Congress and every cheerleader, Facebook cheerleader, sat on CNBC and said, "Oh my God, what a great performance. That was awesome. Let's buy more of the stock." This cyborg sat there in his opening remarks and said, "Senators, I'm hiring 10,000 people to monitor hate speech. 10,000 new employees. We're on that." One senator's like, "Where are you hiring those people from?" And he's like, "Oh, the Bay Area." And he kind of, when he said that, he kind of realized, like, we're hiring 10,000 people to monitor hate speech from the Bay Area, from a sanctuary city. Then I forget the senator who asked the best question. He said, so Mr. Zuckerberg, you're hiring 10,000 people to monitor hate speech." "Yes, Senator, we are." "Can you define it?" The dude, you could see the smoke coming out of his ears. "Does not compute." He sat there and looked at the guy and he said this, I lost count. I had a little stickman drawing of how many times he said this. He said, "That is a good question, Senator. I will have my people get back to you." The dude's hiring people to monitor something he can't even define. So, folks, good luck with that. It's Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart, I think his name was. Pornography. I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. Famous Supreme Court Justice statement. My point being this, and I haven't even mentioned Twitter, folks. Twitter's a shit show. Twitter bans, it shadow bans. Congressman Devin Nunes is suing Twitter. Be careful, man. Whether it's Starbucks or any of these companies that kind of masquerade around doing social justice, you're pissing off half of America. I'll leave it at that. That's why I don't invest in something. If the stock ain't doing what you think it should be doing, you're wrong, not the stock. So, Brad, I don't know if he ever wrote code. I don't think he did. Remember his like main techie, he allegedly screwed the Winklevoss twins out of their stuff, but I don't think the dude. No, he outsourced all the tech. I think the tech guy is either a billionaire or he's suing him, right? I don't know the story of it, but yeah, it's a good question. So, all right, guys, before I jump in, and now the Amazon bull put spread from yesterday is down here at about 11 cents. So it would be stupid not to take profits, man. Please. 78 minus 11 times 30 equals, that's $2,000 in a day. Please close that trade. What was it? 2250 was our max potential profit. So if your SOP, what is that? 2010 is what percentage of 2250? If you're not going to take a 89% profit in a day, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. Come on, Wiz, that's offensive. If you wake up tomorrow and Jeff Bezos is the Antichrist and the stock's at zero, you're going to turn an 89% winning trade into a 100% losing trade. Why would you risk a max loss of $5,200 when you can walk away with $2,000 right now? Please, here's demonstration day number 1 of making your own SOP here at Top Gun Options. Okay. So, and even that one, Tim, that's not in this portfolio. I think that's an accelerated retirement tomorrow. It's up 76%. That one we're going to talk about closing tomorrow. We have another Amazon trade in a different portfolio that's looking great. Go on, take the money and run. I know of not one person I've ever invested with or consulted with who's gone broke taking a profit. Nobody has ever gone broke taking a profit. All right. Here we go. Let's look at our existing positions in this. Brian closed his today. Awesome. So last week, folks, or actually, hold on, the 31st. Yeah, last Tuesday, we looked at Raytheon. We did a really good brief, and we talked about Raytheon. Raytheon is our defense play. If you're new to Top Gun Options, this is a yes, man. Raytheon. I just gave you what I thought was a pretty freaking world-class strategic brief. Iran, North Korea, China, Russia, Raytheon. I'll leave it at that. But we might look to leg into an iron condor. We got a nice 1% pop today. So let's take a look at the existing bull put spread that we placed last week. We looked at the 195, 192.5 bull put spread. And this was more or less at the money last week, right, folks? It was a little, I said this might be a little aggressive, but I believe that Raytheon's going to get back on its horse here. So let's take a look at this. We sold the 195 puts and bought the 192.5s, about a 76-cent credit. And here are the metrics. Risk in 52 to potentially make 23. So let's bring that trade up. Let's go out to August 31st. I said I wanted the whole month of August. I said it's going to be a shit show with world events, and we're starting to see it. Iran, I'll meet with those guys. I'll meet them anywhere. Nobody meets better than me. We don't want to meet with that dude. Okay. So the 195, 192.5. How many did we do? 30, right? 30 and 76. 30 and 76. So let's just show you what the trade looks like right now. So we're up 10 cent. So that trade is up $300 right now. So that's obviously a hold. So there you go, Seymour, aim 7, aim 9, and a Feeny bomb. Seymour shot a Phoenix. I was on a missile shoot one time when VF-213, man, it was just bombs away. The thing never lit and just went right into the Pacific. So this is let's take a look at the metrics here. So there's a 66% probability that this trade is going to make the max profit of 22. So we're up $300. So this is a hold. No, Diane, that's you. Diane, you were thinking where I was heading here. It's not too late to get into this trade. So for new people, first of all, welcome aboard. Looks like it's up here at 67 cents. This is a if I didn't have this trade on right now that we talked about last week, this would be a solid bull put spread. So I'll leave this up on the screen. Well, actually, no, I'm not. Just go to the damn replay from last week. There's the trade. What I'm getting at, folks, is I want to leg. This is going to be called legging into an iron condor. This is why. Raytheon is waiting for something big to get to life again. Let's take a look at the one-year chart of Raytheon. It's had a super nice run, and then after this earnings, we've kind of been hanging out. We're waiting, so-called, to start the APU, right, the auxiliary power unit, and to get these engines cranking again. In the meantime, this should serve as a perfect example that you can make money. So this should be a yes to your Jan 20s. If you don't have a defense sector trade, this is the one I would recommend. As I've covered numerous times, General Dynamics, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Northrop Grumman, what am I missing? Whatever. Good stocks, great stocks. Raytheon's in every name that I just mentioned. So this is almost like cryptocurrencies. Like I trade Oakleaf, Bitcoin, son of a bitch, and electronic quartermaster. I don't know, I made that up. Don't trade any of that crap. Trade the underlying blockchain technology. So Lockheed Martin, all these defense stocks trade the Raytheon, which is the kind of the underlying, right? So this is the better idea. So we've been making money, even though this looks like that ain't the best chart in the world, Wiz. To an options trader, it is bear call spread, bull put spreads, iron condors. We've been printing money with Raytheon. Love our Raytheon position. So let's see what the market, the options market, is telling us on August 31st expiration. Raytheon might top out at, and yeah, we'll cover some potential short calls here in a little bit. That's exactly right, Brian. Brian's has a lot of intel in this sector. They are all major. Raytheon is a major subcontractor to all of those names that we just did. Ryan, just had lunch with the U.S. Congressman. The government is going to pump billions into defense. You got it, Ryan. The president did some good work with the defense bill. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the strikes out to August 31st, we don't have a 197.92 strike. Does anybody see that? I certainly don't. We have a 197.5. So I'm going to click on that. So I have August 31st selected, and I'm going to click on this 197.5. Actually, before I do that, let's just do some mental math. Hey, Wiz, I don't know if Raytheon's going down by August 31st, so maybe I'd buy some puts. Well, mid-market, so 305, 320, 307? So 307 would be what the puts would cost. I disagree with that, Wiz. I think it's going up. 395, the same type of thing. What's that? Almost 307. So about 614. I know that was a little quick, but all I'm doing, guys, is I'm adding the at the money on August 31st, the at the money calls, and the at the money puts. This, and we haven't even started trading yet, but this, check this out, folks. Let me click on this and click straddle, and check this out. August 31st, wrong expiration. I was off a little bit. It's $7.10, but isn't that cool, folks? It is about $10. $10. It should be $4. I was off over here. I had a 3. That should have been 407. I would have been right if I did. Kind of like my text yesterday. I need some of that Prevagen shit from Jellyfish. They say it helps your brain. $7.10. So let's take a look at this. The at the money straddle, and I get it, folks, if you're kind of new and you're sitting here like, man, I don't even know what a put or a call is, but take a look at this. This is a teepee. Can I say that? Or am I going to get in trouble for culturally appropriating a Native American thing? Whatever. The options market, folks, take a look at this. The options market is pricing in a move. This should be about a 58 to 60% certainty. With a 58 to 60% certainty, they believe, who's they? The options market thinks that Raytheon is going to stay above 190, but below 204. So there's a couple things to glean from everything I'm rambling about right now. First thing is to take a look at the chart. Where is the 50-day moving average? Right about 200. Where's the most recent resistance been? Right about 202.5. Okay, so we took a look at the chart. We did some blue-collar technical analysis and said, well, it looks like the last time it had a little bit of a run, it topped out at 202.5. Now it's looked like it's getting on a little bit of a run again. There's the 50-day. There's some recent resistance. Now let's take a look at what is called the at-the-money straddle. And the at-the-money straddle is saying, you know what? We don't think it's going to be above 204.60. Aha! So we have an existing bull put spread that Diane just did a great job saying, hey, is this still a good trade a week later? Yep. What we can do, it's called leg into an iron condor. An iron condor is a range-bound trade. If you have any questions on the iron condor, check out what I'm about to tell you. Go watch the iron condor training on the Full Throttle page, because I'm going to zip through this really quick because we have a lot of other positions to cover. So let's leg into an iron condor using everything that we just talked about. Okay, yep, and using a little bit of Scientology here, which is more pricey right now for Raytheon out to August 31st? Which is more expensive, the puts or the calls? Where's all my, come on, Seymour, you're a naval aviator. Where's all my political science major naval aviators? The calls are a little bit more expensive, which is what? That's also giving me a little dead reckoning that, well, people think that the stock is actually going to go a little higher. So let's Rubik's Cube all that stuff together, and let's take a look at a potential bear call spread, and let's make this thing an iron condor. 202.5 was recent resistance. We could start there. Let's look at the 202.5, 205. 30 contracts is what we did with the bull put spread. So that's a pretty decent looking trade. Let me walk through this, okay? And this might not be the one I'm doing. What I'm getting at is this might be the aggressive bear call spread. We could potentially sell 30 of the AUG 31. Why AUG 31? Because I have a bull put spread currently that's expiring on that same day. We could go out a little bit, but I'm going to keep this what's called a balanced iron condor. Same expiration, right? The 202.5 calls, and I just spent about 7.5 minutes explaining how I got to 202.5. Its resistance on the chart, and the 204 was the at the money straddle, so that's why I'm saying maybe this is a little bit more aggressive one. Wiz, what if you're wrong? Raytheon, Donald Trump wants to bomb Iran next Friday. He mentioned it. Raytheon goes through the roof. Well, yay for our Jan 20. That's going to be printing money. Boo for this trade, but we're going to be hedged. This is a spread. Let's buy upside calls in case it does have a rip your face off rally. Okay, this is a spread. So I'm neutral to slightly bearish on Raytheon. I think it's hanging out, waiting, like I said, for the APU to start so the engines can start and Raytheon can get airborne. So I'm neutral to bearish. I'm using calls, and it's a spread. What's this tactic called? A bear call spread. Now, if you're new to options, you're sitting here like, man, that makes sense. He's neutral to bearish. He's using calls, and it's a spread. I'm hooked. Well, it's also called a credit spread. Some people go out of their way to try and sound smart, like, yeah, I trade credit spreads on Raytheon. Well, you bullish or bearish. So, yes, it's called a credit spread, and yes, it's called a vertical spread. But here at TGO, we like using the tactical mindset, which is neutral to bearish. Okay? Now, the biggest thing you're going to learn moving forward here at Top Gun Options to all the new folks is what? The second I press this analyze button, your eyes are magically always going to go to the sad person. Right? I can't call it a dude or a chick because I don't want to assume it's gender and get in trouble. Max potential loss, $5,400. Now, if you know about iron condors, you know that this is a lie. Well, what are you talking about, Wiz, man? I'm looking at my screen. It says $5,400. Well, we're already in a bull put spread. And the stock physically can't, I swear, man, it's never in the history of stocks has all of a sudden the stock done that and that on the same. You can't lose on your bear call spread and your bull put spread, right? The stock can either go up or down and hit one of these and make them in danger. I mean, hopefully it just stays kind of like our XLE trade going down the fairway. So I get it, but that's still pretty close to our SOP, right? Our SOP says, hey, man, out of a $100,000 model portfolio, even though we might only have about 50 grand-ish deployed, another 50 keeping some powder dry in case, Uncle Market pulls back. That's okay. That's the risk I am willing to take. If you ain't willing to take that risk, don't do 30 contracts. Do 1, do 1,000, do 1,000,000. It's none of my business. This is for the model portfolios here at Top Gun Options. Now that you sit here and go, all right, Wiz, I'm the pilot in command of my portfolio, man. I signed for the jet. I signed for this airplane. I signed for this portfolio. Now we can look up at Mr. and Mrs. Happy Face and go, $2,000, $2,100. Sweet. And using spot volatility, at the money volatility in Raytheon's options, as I'm mumbling, there's a 65% probability of making that max profit. That's pretty decent. And if you come down here, there's a 68 of at least breaking even. You know what's funny is they changed, I just noticed that. They changed the little, there's no dude there. It used to be a face that just had it wasn't smiling and it wasn't sad. Now they just have a up-down arrow. This is what would drive me crazy, folks. You guys know my background. I helped build Options House. This probably was an hour, not when I was there. That would have been like an hour meeting with a bunch of marketing people and techie to decide to bring your paper trading back instead of having a meeting about getting rid of the dude that looked like that for an up and down arrow. What a stupid thing to do. Anyway, and we know with a bear call spread that we make money 3 ways out of 4. If you're short this stock, you make money 1 way. You better hope and pray this thing goes down, not as an options trader. That blue line right there, folks, is Raytheon. What can it do? Well, it can go down, Wiz, and stay in that channel. Yep. It can kind of do what it's doing right now, Wiz, and hang out. Yep. It can even do what, folks? It can even go up a little bit as long, you see that point right there? That's the break even. So 3 out of 4 times, Raytheon goes down, Raytheon stays where it is, Raytheon even goes up, we make money. The one time we don't make money is Raytheon does what? Oh my God, war declared, yay for Raytheon. Okay? Now that I thoroughly briefed that trade, I might actually go up a little bit. So that is I'm not going to say more aggressive, let's say this, a lower probability trade. Let's go up. We don't have a 204. Remember the at the money straddle said 204? Let's go up to the 205, 207 and a half spread. Let's look at this one. So I'm risking more money and potentially making less, but why? The options market, folks, you're an insurance company. You get paid to take risk. Well, Wiz, you're taking a hell of a lot less risk. Yeah, I know. Then I'm making a hell of a lot less. You know what? I actually like the other spread. Never mind. Forget everything I just said, and let's stick with this one. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a screenshot of this trade because you're going to get it in your email once we get done covering the rest of our existing positions. File, save as, to the desktop. Raytheon, what's today's date? The 8/7. Braveheart was on last night. I watched Braveheart with Matthew and Jack. What a great movie. Let me grab a screenshot. The Braveheart hold. And we'll talk about adjust and eject levels in a second. RTN. Remember, guys, if you're new, watch the replays to the full throttle because we talk about adjust and eject levels in the spread training, okay? And real quick, folks, so we have a lot of positions to cover, so I'm trying to move quick. Remember, when you sell something, looking right out at the Ferrari dealer down there on Federal in Fort Lauderdale, when that dude comes in, asking for his midlife crisis for $250,000, as soon as he or she peels out of the parking lot, women can have midlife crises, it experiences time decay. Everybody in this room has bought a damn car and you've experienced this, right? There's theta. Look at, as the life of this trade goes on, every day that goes by, we get time decay in our pocket. I love this saying, unched on the day equals time decay. If Raytheon sits here tomorrow or for the next week and just sits there, you make money. Unched on the day equals time decay. Makes sense? That's why I'm more of a credit spread guy than a debit spread. Doug, I'm new to TGO but have been listening to your sit reps for a couple weeks now. Would you recommend a Jan 20? Absolutely, Doug. I thought I covered that earlier. I might not have said it too strongly. Raytheon is a yes. Raytheon is a hell yes. Where'd my sector brief go? Yeah, man, look at this. Yes, everything on this slide is a yes, except Goldman Sachs. Yes to JP Morgan, actually. Everything, if you're new, these are all yeses, except EWC. We'll talk about FXI here in a little bit. But you bet, man. Great question, Doug. Doug, since we have to move, do me a favor, Doug, and go to full throttle and watch the long call diagonal and synthetic stock brief. Okay? So session 7 here. Here's why. Because the current Jan 20 that I'm in is the strike is going to be different than the one you pick. What you're going to have to do, Doug, is hop in your Super Hornet, go to speed of light out to Jan 20, and you're going to look at what are they real quick? The 0.8 delta calls or what? They're going to be the 165. So let me at least get you started, Doug, since you're new. I'd probably, for a long call diagonal, be looking at being long the 165 calls. And then watch the rest of that training video, and it'll take you through how to put on a Jan 20 for Raytheon. I think the training, Doug, is actually on Raytheon. That's what's funny. Isn't it? Didn't we do it on Raytheon? I think we did it on Raytheon, man, which is funny. But I think it might be we might be a couple bucks off. I think the original Raytheon we put on ages ago, guys, I think were like the 120 calls. I mean, my God, remember with my my Jan 120s, I set them and forget them. I almost forced myself not to look at them on my screen. Set them and forget them, right? Okay, let me blast this out via text so everybody can get their alert. SMS. All right, so let's go with, we are in the primary live trade brief. PLTB, new, Raytheon, bear call spread. And this is why, folks, 80%, 85% of you guys work legging into Iron Condor. You guys, if you're not here one day, you'll always get the text alerts. You'll get the replay email with the screenshots and of the trade and the recording. PLTB, new Raytheon bear call spread, legging into Iron Condor. And real quick, I want to see what the whole big Iron Condor looks like. And we'll take a look at the risk and how it's reduced. It's the AUG 31 expiry. We'll look to sell the 202.5 calls and buy as a hedge the upside 205 calls at a 69-cent credit. Let's go about 4 cents wide, meaning I'd go down to about a 65-cent credit or up to 73 for today. Okay, that's good for today. I'd maybe look to adjust this trade if it went up to about $1.24, and maybe eject and I just double the credit that I take in. If this thing really starts running away from me and we're up here, let's just round up and say $1.40, I'd maybe eject at that. Okay? So I'm going to press send. I'm going to grab my cell phone and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say 1 potato, 2 potato. And there it is. Sweet. Hold on a second. Sweet. All right. All right, Steve. Let me go ahead and do this. Kevin's filled at 69. Let me send this out to the folks that don't have cell phones. PLTB, new. Raytheon. Bear call spread. Put this in there, and then the folks who hold on one second. Okay, cool. Harry's filled, Nelson's filled, 2 Nelsons. All right, now let's take a look at what the Iron Condor would look like. We have the 1 night. We have to add option, 30. Sell by. The 195 puts and the 192.5 puts. We'd buy those. So here's what's awesome, guys. So if you're new to options, Greg, Schwab sucks for fill price is always lower than what I hear. Greg, there's 5 different discussions in the ready room about different brokers, and I'll leave it at that. So, folks, if you're sitting there going, well, Wiz, that risk of that bear call spread of $5,200 is a little more than I'd want to spend. Well, I said it ain't $5,200 if you have the bull put spread on too. Why? You ready? Let me click analyze and take a look at what's going on. $3,600 in risk. Man, what type of sorcery are you running here, Wiz? I'm not. There's the bull put spread we have on, the 195, 192, and here's the bear call spread we want to place. I told you, man, even Charlie Brown, with Lucy, that football, when he kicked it eventually, can't split in the middle of the air and fly outside of both uprights, man. Even the Army-Navy game, even though Navy lost Army last year on a field goal, that couldn't happen, right? So you know what? Let me grab a screenshot of the resulting trade here. This is what an iron condor looks like. So hopefully this thing goes, not hopefully, hope ain't a strategy. This thing goes right down the fairway. I don't even care if it hits the damn upright as long as it goes in and scores. So, and we can even go outside the upright a little bit. Doesn't it make sense? Because there's two break evens in an iron condor. There's a break even to the downside in case Raytheon decides to pass out. And there's a break even to the upside in case it decides to get on its horse and gallop northward. So this is the resulting iron condor. Isn't it cool that we just reduced our risk from $5,200 to $3,600? RTN IC Iron Condor 87. So if your head's spinning a little bit because you're new to options, just throttle back, watch the Iron Condor session, or rewatch this and see how we built this. We have an existing bull put spread, right? You can go on the member page and look at it. I didn't press send on that thing, idiot. You can go look at the existing bull put spread. As Diane asked, hey, is this still a good one? So Diane got some good pricing. Diane got 61 cents for the puts and 68 for the calls, right? That's awesome. Okay. Martin, when we close, can we close one side or the other? Yeah, so great question, Martin. I manage an iron condor not as an iron condor. I manage this as two spreads. For example, there is not an adjust or eject for a iron condor. I just told you about Charlie Brown. You can't lose on both spreads. So have your adjust and eject levels for each trade. So Martin, you're exactly right. Adjust and eject for each trade, but also profit. Hey, Wiz, my bull put spread's up 70%. Well, go on, take the money and run and close the damn thing. Right. So yeah, Martin, you manage the individual spreads, not the overall iron condor. When you do the trade like this, most brokerage firms put it together on your screen as an iron condor. I know with E-Trade, there's a grouping function where you can like take this trade apart and just have it sit there looking like a bear call spread and a bull put spread. So yeah, good question. Okay. Kirk, Raytheon filled for 70 cents. Amazon closed today for 18 cents. Kirk, welcome aboard, man. Isn't that awesome? Good stuff. Yeah, for the folks that just closed your Amazon trade, you're up $2,000, 89% in a day. So there is your annual defensive full throttle membership. That's why I told you folks when 90% of you in a couple months, if you did the monthlies, are going to be reaching out to us to upgrade into into your annual. But just give us a call whenever you're ready to upgrade. Hold on a second. What the hell happened here? There we go. 1 second. Okay. Dan, thanks, Jeff Bezos. Exactly. John, Wiz, I like to move the strikes up, down a little, and I love to place the iron condor where the max loss is less than 2 times the max profit. And this way, there is no eject point. John, that's I like the way you do that. That's a good way to fly and fight your airplane. That's I have no arguments with that. I actually support the way you think with that. Whoever asked for another Amazon trade, we have to cover our existing positions in this portfolio. We have an Amazon trade in tomorrow in the Accelerated Retirement Live Trade Brief. Quick reminder for those of you guys that are on a 2-week trial. If you're on that 2-week trial for $38, you get access into the weekly options brief we did yesterday and the PLTB we're doing today. We have 2 more briefs the rest of the week. Accelerated Retirement, which is tomorrow at 1, and then we have Analyze Your Trade and Debrief every Thursday at 1. So if at the end of your 2-week trial, if you just want to stay in these 2 services, great. If not, you should give us a call and get access to everything we do here. It's called Full Throttle Max. And it's the best, obviously it's the best value out there. So Dan, I already closed the Amazon Accelerated Retirement trade for a 90% profit. Well freaking done. All right, guys, Raytheon done. XLE, we have to cover the XLE, folks. Let's click on this and let's talk about the XLE Iron Condor. So last week, folks, we legged into an Iron Condor with what? A bear Kevin, yeah, it, if you're looking at to sell some front month upside calls on Raytheon, obviously it can't. If you're short to 202.5s along the, you might have to pick a different expiration instead of August 31st. Because if we the 205s would be good. So Kevin brings up a good point here, folks. If you're in Raytheon, here's another way you can make money: sell the front month upside. Sell these. Yes, Kevin. So this is how it's funny when people look at a flat chart and I tell them, hey, we're up like 77 grand, and they're like, that's impossible with the chart's flat. Well, look at this. Not only could we potentially make, what was it, $3,600 in that iron condor with Raytheon being flat, we could potentially do what? We could potentially make $1,200 just in August by doing what? Selling these short calls. This is a tactic, folks. Let's sell the 205s right here. So not only can we bring in premium by doing spreads, we can do premium by selling the front month upside call. So yeah, those would be the calls. Good catch, Kevin. That I would sell short. So let's do this too. I have 10 contracts out to Jan 20, so I would sell 10 of these. So save as Raytheon front month 8.7. Good catch. I do these automatically, guys, so I need to do a better job of covering these in the live trade briefs because I'm pretty sure everybody's doing this, but I maybe shouldn't. So, well, Bob, when you think about it, you can't be long and short at the same strike because it negates it cancels, they cancel each other out, right? We gotta talk XLE, guys. Let's press because we need to stick on time. Last week we legged into an iron condor that expires Friday. It expires in 2 days. The 77.5 bear call spread we added, and this is what the overall iron condor looks like. Look at this. We're risking $3,900 to potentially make $3,600. Right now, I'm looking at what, a 55. How's everybody looking on this one? About a 55% profit in this iron condor right now. Who's in this one? Let's go to XLE. So the bull put spread is actually, let me bring up the bull put spread strikes. So it's the 74, 73.5 out to Friday. So the 74, 73.5. This is at a penny, guys. So close this one in case oil goes to zero before Friday. Close this one. Close the bull put for a penny. We got in at what, 14 cents? So that's 13 times 150, 150 contracts. 13 cents times 150 equals 1950. So again, there's a defensive annual membership. Rick, currently up $1,875 on XLE. Nice. So here's this is exactly what the bull put spread looks like from 2 weeks ago. So close this one, guys. Take it, it's a penny. You made $19.50 on this trade. Now let's take a look at the bear call spread. It's the 77, right? The 77, 77.5. 77.5. This one's a hold, obviously, because we are at what? There we go. So this one's technically showing a loss, but this is fitting nicely into what? Our strategic mindset of its resistance right here. So no problems with this right here at all. Hold this. Yeah, Matt, it's true. You might have to render in the Caesar what is Caesar to get out of that. You might not be able to. It's a good point, Matt. You might not be able to get out for penny. You might have to come up to the, give Caesar the market makers due. So PLTB. This is kind of a master of the obvious text. PLTB update. XLE close the 74, 73.5 bull put spread. If you can get it at a penny for a 1950. What was our risk on that? I think it was, I want to get my numbers right, man. I don't like not being right with my numbers. 74, 73 and a half. I think it was around 54. 1950, 5400. That is a 36% return on that one. Okay. Oops, wait a minute. 2100, idiot. My God, man, I'm getting old. I was like, wait a minute. It's a 93%. I said 94 in my head, so that is 93%, $2,100. 93% profit in 2 weeks. Currently holding 77 and a half. Let me make sure that's right. That doesn't look, this should be showing a profit. What am I doing wrong here? August 10th, the 77, sell those, buy the 77 and a half. Oh yeah, dude, I was wrong at that. And we got 14. No, this should be up like $600. I swear I got my sleep last night. Where am I? 77 and a half. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Somebody just said that. Yeah, Dennis. Thanks, Dennis. I'm like, what am I, mental? The 77, 70, I had the wrong strikes in there. So this trade is up too. This trade is up, 14 cents, and we're down at 10. So 4 times 150 equals what? That's up 600. That's a hold though. Let's hold that. But if you were to get out of that right now, folks, that's 1950 and 600, man. That's a $2,500 gain, man, on these XLE iron condor. Holding current $600 gain. And I'll close the AUG 10. It's the so really nice iron condor on the XLE here, guys. This has been one of our sleeper trades in the background here. I know we talked about CSX and Raytheon and what's going on with WIN and the SIN stocks. We've been printing money in the background here in these XLE trades. I'm very, very happy with this. PLTB update, XLE closed the AUG 10, 74, 75 and a half, bull put spread at a penny. 1950, $93 percent profit in 2 weeks. Currently holding 77, 70 bear call spread. There we go. $600 gain. Nice. Any questions, concerns? Oh, by the ways on XLE. Yeah, it's very, very well. And we have 1 or 2 more positions to cover. We'll be getting back into the XLE motoring around here. Yep. Okay. Got my text. And let me put this out with the broadcaster. Having a very, very good time, man. We, knock on wood, a very good time. PLTB update. XLE. Okay. Is that? I just saw that. I just got a text alert too. Why was Tesla halted? Oh my God, he wasn't messing around. All right, we're not going to chew up airtime on this. I got to be honest with you. That might be illegal. What he did. You're not allowed to do shit like that. To announce something. I think that's why wherever the exchange has probably said, "Hey man, are you doing this or not?" And we're going to halt your stock. Whoops. They threw Martha Stewart in prison, man, for ImClone. So it's insider trading, Brian, to be honest with you. That's bullshit. And somebody tell me why Elon Musk might be doing this. It was a headline up here. I think I closed it finally. Why is Elon Musk doing this? What did he say? Not to raise capital. What did he say? There you go. Rick had it in all capital letters. Shorts. What did he say to the dude last week after earnings? He said he was going to send him a pair of diapers or something like that. He actually sent out a tweet. Who's the big guy that's short Tesla? And he said, I'm going to send you some diapers or something. Whatever he said he was going to send him, because he's getting cleaned out. It very potentially, if I was on the floor in Chicago, the dude. It's illegal. I think this is illegal, man. Oh, shorts. Yeah. If you're short, what's it doing right now besides being halted? This is why. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember this like 4 or 5 weeks ago? We got in for a quick weekly options 1-day trade on Tesla. I got in and out, and it freaked me out. I'm like, you know what? Let's not do that anymore. Don't watch this stuff. Don't trade this stuff, man. Let's sit here with our Amazons. Let's do the Lord's work, because I feel bad for the shorts, man. Actually, I don't feel bad, because they're probably going to sue the shit out of them. That ain't good. This is why I call them popcorn stocks, man. Holy crap. Oof. XLE, SPX. You know what, guys? We haven't talked about this for a while. It expires in a couple weeks. This would be, if this hedge is on your brokered screen, it's blinding red. And you know what? I don't care. This is one of our hedges. So let's lead into a discussion with volatility too on VSX. So no, it is, guys, up 26, 27 bucks, man. It's just if I were short the stock and the dude did, I guarantee you there's a lot of attorneys being called right now, and his investor relations department probably ain't the most pleasant place to be right now, especially if he didn't consult them. Twitter, he's like Donald Trump, man. Twitter is it's a blessing and a curse for some people, to be honest with you. So guys, this is, for the love of God and all thing holy, look at this. Did we break 11 today? Holy shit. The VIX got down to 1091 today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is nuts. This is the options market saying, Wiz, there ain't no possibility on God's green earth that anything bad's going to happen. Does anybody in this room believe that? So, folks, if you have not gotten long volatility, I just said nuts, John. John just sat up and paid attention. I think I said effing nuts. When is the last time we had a 10 print? This was back here. Remember last year, our old resting heart rate was like a 10, and then the world ended, and the new resting heart rate was like a 12. We had this little climb up in like a new base. So here's what we're going to do, folks. So, and I know if you're new and you have that VXX trade, you're probably sitting there like, hey, Wiz, this is red on my screen. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I don't care. I told you when we put that trade on, what did I say? And I'm going to tell you I did a damn good job. I said there is a distinct possibility during the life of this trade that it's not showing a profit or that it loses money. But I do not call having a hedge against a spike in volatility a loss. Remember the word, folks, and if you're new, you probably haven't heard this speech. I use the word tredge, right? It's with a trade, we want to do what, man? We want to make money. With a hedge, I better lose money. If my hedges are blinding green, that means my Jan 20s and some of my other bullish positions are getting kicked in the jimmy. So a tredge is a combination. It's a trade I think is going to make money and can serve as a hedge in case whatever wrong I think can go wrong goes wrong. So if you have the VXX hedge or tredge, I'm not touching it. I love using this example. Stop, man. The hell's going on here? I love using this example because it's this is why you do it. The last year, the Jim Comey week, it was Tuesday. We used to do the primary live trade briefs at 9:30 in the morning. We moved them to 1 just because 9:30 is amateur hour. It was crazy watching people freak out in the live trade briefs like, where's this trade? I'm like, oh my God. The first 30 minutes of trading in any day is amateur hour. No professional trades the markets in the first 30 minutes. So we moved it. But somebody that morning was freaking out that the VXX was losing money. And I said, what? You can go ahead and close it. It's none of my business what you do. I said, with my luck, by Friday the world ends. And Thursday the world almost ended with Jim Comey, that treasonous son of a bitch, leaking to the New York Times that the president obstructed justice and should be impeached. Market crashed, volatility went up, trade made $4,000. So that might be hey, that happened once, but 2-3 other times that didn't happen. That's the reason you have a Tredge on, is for that exact purpose. So I am not touching anything. So this is, and Kevin's like, hey, yes, the VXX 2930 is at a reflection point. You could, and Kevin's saying, I'm not even going to look at the math. I rarely roll or touch my Tredges, because I guarantee you, I'd roll that trade right now, and then this afternoon, the president, I just ordered B-2 bombers to the level I ran, and the VIX is at 50. So Kevin's doing the math for us, being a good wingman, saying, hey, Wiz, it looks like you could roll that spread for break even, right? Brian, that's a great way to put it. Look at it at noon, Mike. So $30 on VIX is coming. When is the question, of course, shorts crush? Exactly. Mike? Well, guess what? The VIX can remain irrational longer than we can stay solvent. God almighty, we could be sitting here next Tuesday in the PLTB and the VIX is at 9. Great. Well, that one trade lost money. Well, that means if the VIX is at 9 next week, that happened. And everybody's at cocktail parties and happy in America's. Yay. Good. I want the market to go up, folks. But as far as that VXX, Kevin, being a good wingman, said, Wiz, we could roll that now for even. If you're scratching your chin and going, hey, Wiz, love you, but this, peace, love, and understanding is broken out. Vol's going to be depressed for a while here. I'm rolling this thing. Do it. Fly and fight your own airplane. I'm the dude that's, I was like Tropic Thunder. I've been 26 years. I've been doing this, guys. The first early years of my trading career, I was that dude. And then Friday, what do we have Friday, guys, that I briefed you on, which is another reason I won't touch this trade. The volatility. What did I brief you comes out on Friday? Thank you, Tim. CPI. I don't do this half an hour strategic and operational brief because I like to hear myself talk. Actually, I don't. It gives me a headache. And it's still highlighted from when I left the page. What if this comes out blisteringly good? Well, I don't know if there's a good or a bad. Meaning high. Meaning Jerome Powell's like, holy shit, man, we're actually behind the power curve. If this number comes in blisteringly high and the market says, uh-oh, Jerome Powell might actually... Now the dude's got to act and maybe have 3 interest rate increases this year. What's the market going to do? So exactly, I told you folks, I was 1 minute late to get on the air here because I was on a call with a lot of people smarter than me. The market is looking for an excuse to do what? That. It almost nope. It's looking for an excuse. So. This is a very long discussion, but these type of discussions are needed when we're in a volatility trade that isn't necessarily, Wiz, you're covering all these great looking trades and we're one-day trades on Amazon. Everything's great, but that trade's red. Yeah. And if you don't like that, you gotta shift. Do me a favor and shift your mentality. Okay. That's this up here. You want superior execution, you have to have these type of Tredges on. I guarantee you, I'm shocked that the VIX got down as low as it did today. It's nuts. You got dudes like Elon Musk out here potentially insider trading. What a great headline. Tesla yet to issue response of tweet. What if the investor relations people come out and say, he was joking? Holy shit. Dan, what a great way to put it. What a great way to put it. Dan said, hey, man, as long as my what? As long as my pluses are greater than my minuses. And we just covered Amazon, XLE, and Raytheon, where we're looking pretty damn freaking phenomenal in this portfolio. So to have a VXX Tredge that's sitting there red, that's the way it's supposed to be. Ginny, we covered last week, or in whichever session it was last week, we had a long discussion on the bull put spread on VXX, but I also talked, Ginny, about getting long some VIX calls. So please watch that replay because we got, 4 minutes left, and I'm not going to give – we talked in the same replay where we talked about the 30-29 bull put spread, I talked about getting long some VIX calls. So absolutely yes. Larry, I'm convinced that Musk is nuttier than squirrel shit. Wiz, what if on Friday the CPI number comes out and the market rallies? Well, that's the exact opposite of what I'm saying. I'm holding this reason for. If the CPI number comes out and it's weak, and the market goes, wow, the Fed probably can just hang out. The market is of course going to rally. And what else is going to rally? What else is going to rally when we do this? All of our well, they should. But so this happens. So this is a yay, woohoo, yay on Friday if CPA comes out. All of our Jan 20s do phenomenal. What's a boo? VXX. I don't care at that point, man. So again, guys, if you're bent around the axle that volatility is imploding and you're quote losing money on those VIX calls or VXX, you have to. You have to make a decision here. You have to sit down and meditate and go, with a hedge or a Tredge, it is okay to lose money because it's not losing money. Seriously, folks, how many of you in this room, if you're worried about VXX, first of all, you should have gotten in it. But here's my point. How many of you sit here at your kitchen table and go, God damn State Farm and USAA auto, home, and life bill? Honey, do you know how much money we lose every month paying our auto, home, and life insurance? If that's you, you're weird. I'll leave it at that. Every month, we've gotten to the point now, folks, where those things are on what? Auto pay. I don't even remember that I pay my auto, home, and life insurance. Actually, once a year, I remember I pay my life insurance because it's a lot of money. And then I look at the amount and I go, and I look at Susie and the kids and I go, thank God I pay for that shit. I ain't going to live forever. So does that make sense? So, every time I write the check, exactly, Tim. So, and whoever, guys, remember when you log in, please do me a favor and use your name. I'm trying to answer. I can't sit here and say waiting for name 3200202 offline. So it's annoying not being able to use your name. So please make sure, if that's you, please log in and use your name. Watch the replay you have access to all the replays of the previous session. So please go back and watch last week's presentation on VXX. Okay. VIX is back below 11. Wow. Unbelievable. So, Ryan, I talked about that. Guys, if you're not in any of those, so yeah, look at this. We're back below 11. Take a look. Literally, we have 1 minute left, guys. If you're not in a VXX, go out maybe 2 weeks. And I'm not going to do the trade, guys, because I don't rush a trade in 1 minute. Hold on. I'd go out about 2 weeks, maybe to August 24th on VXX. Okay, so kind of like a leapfrog. And I would look at a bull put spread. Let's just pull up the chart here. This is the fact that we held, the reason I did the 30-29 bull put spread is because we haven't broken 30. Support, 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 support. Whoa. Support, 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 support. Smash. We smashed 30. So I got to be honest with you. Now you're guessing on a bottom in volatility. But if you're itching for a Tredge, which God bless you, I love because you're thinking right. Look out to AUG 24 and maybe look at I'd go at the money, man. I would look at a 28 27 bull put spread. And again, folks, we're at our hour and a half, and we got to close our room because I have my coaching calls. But yeah, whoever just asked that, there's a good place to start. The 28-27 bull put spread out a couple weeks. Or just buy some long VIX calls out a couple weeks, guys. This is absolutely retarded that the volatility is this low. And every time we say that something is nuts, that it's this low, or not something, that volatility is this low, something happens to freak the market out. Okay? So, very, very good session. Action-packed session. This is why we do our strategic and operational brief, folks, before we get tactical. We just don't jump in and go, oh, let's talk about the VIX, or we have to brief all this stuff first. We talked about CPI and everything like that. So, right, big to little. Strategic, always remember this is the way you should trade. Strategic, let's do our big brief. Operational, let's talk about the US, and then we get tactical and trade. So, do me a favor. If you don't have your VXX or VIX trade on, it's in the replays. Just go underneath the member here and go back. It's not under the primary live trade brief. I think we did it under accelerated retirement. I'm not being a salesman here, but if you don't have access to accelerated retirement, you need access to accelerated retirement. That's why I strongly suggested during full throttle. That's why 85 to 95% of our, I don't know what our current metric is. It's almost everybody here is in full throttle max, which means you get access to everything. So, if you want access to full throttle max, month to month or annual, give Susie a call, because I think it's in AR. So tomorrow at 1 o'clock, guys, well, let me just pull it up, or it's in Analyze Your Trade. 1 second. And again, waiting for name 3202002. That's a great question. Which is better option, getting VXX bull put spread or VIX calls? You know what's funny, man, is I spend 45 minutes answering that question. I spend 45 minutes because I tell you, you ready for this? The answer is yes. If you're really bullish, it's yes. If you're really, really bullish, it's the bull put spread on VXX. And if you're really, really, really bullish, you should be putting on a what? A bullish double vertical. Okay? So if you haven't watched the double, I got to be honest with you. Dan, the VIX is under my pillow and I'm sleeping well. Great question. Kevin, thanks for saying that, man. I hate the trials, man. That's why I call them test flights. The trial is a gift, yearly is a bonus, lifetime is God tweeting. Dan, so guys, we gave a good brief last week that says what? If you're bullish on volatility, do some VIX calls. If you're really bullish, do the VXX bull put spread. And then you're ready for this? If you're really, really, really bullish, what do you need to be doing? A bullish double vertical on VXX. If you don't know what a bullish double vertical is, underneath member content, underneath full throttle, watch the double vertical training. You ready for this, folks? Tomorrow or Thursday, we are going to do a bullish double vertical on VXX. This is stupid. Sue, I put a bullish double vertical on today on VXX. God bless you, Sue. I love it. I don't want to, we're already over. I don't want to force a VXX bullish double vertical, but Sue gets a gold star for today. Today's the day when this absolute stupidity is going on. Musk would remain CEO of private. I think that's actually a bad thing if that dude remains CEO if it goes private. So folks, tomorrow or Thursday, we're going to go over a bullish double vertical on VXX. A bullish double vertical, and I'm not being cute when I say this, I need 3 R's. I need to be really, really, really something. If you're really, really bullish or really, really bearish, that's when you do the tactic called a double vertical. It is an awesome tactic. And I guarantee you, even if you've traded options for 20 years and you're a Jedi master, you haven't traded a double vertical. And it's right here. Let me put this in the chat box directly to this lecture. So Sue, I love you, man. Well done. You're God bless you. A double vertical on VXX is exactly what we need to do. Okay. And if, hey guys, in between trade briefs, I had the Ready Room up earlier and I didn't even say anything about it. In between trade briefs, if you want to chat with me or actually chat with your fellow members, get in here. Paul's always active in here. I see Brett's in here a lot. Doc is, Bruce is in here. Michelle. So look at this: VIX, small accounts, full volatility, thinkorswim, blah blah blah. Amazon trading, long call diagonal versus synthetic on CSX. So get in the Ready Room, folks, and ask questions, interact with your fellow traders. This is worth its weight in gold right here. Is accessing the Ready Room. Okay, so we will absolutely talk about that. Tim, I've put a phone call out to FXI is tomorrow, guys, in accelerated retirement. I've put a call out to Tamara, and she hasn't gotten back to me, so I'm a little worried. I need to figure out what to do because I've left her a couple and sent her an email, and because I know she was having some health problems. So I'm on it. I'm trying to get a hold of her. Thank you for asking. See, that's a good squadron mate right there. Tamara's the reason he asked is because Tamara's our double vertical queen, man. She is phenomenal. I met her. She came to our live event in Miami like a year and a half ago. She had just started investing. She literally found Top Gun options like the first day she looked into learning how to invest. Never traded a stock or option before. And here she was months later doing double verticals and printing money. She saw like over 1,000% return. So I'm very worried about Tamara, and I'm trying to track her down. So thanks for asking that. We'll cover FXI tomorrow. I have nothing to say about FXI because it's doing this, guys. PBOC, holy shit, let's save capitalism market. That's actually bad. What happened yesterday or last night? Holy shit, we have to save capitalism. That's actually bad. FXI is going to go back down again. No problem with the bear call spreads. We're going to talk about that tomorrow in Accelerated Retirement. Guys, we got to get going. Yeah, thank you, Arthur. Do throw her in your prayers. Something ain't good, and I gotta find out. So she's been a good squadron mate for a couple years here, Top Gun Options, and a hell of a person. So, all right, guys, I got to run. I'll get you the replay here as soon as it gets done rendering with the screenshot of the trades, and then I'll see many of you tomorrow for Accelerated Retirement. Yes, Steve, Susie's number. If you want to upgrade and get into Accelerated Retirement and analyze your trade for the rest of the week, or somebody just said, can I get my annual now? I told you guys, if you signed up with a monthly, I just showed you in a day, we paid for with Amazon, we paid for a defensive annual slot. But as a businessman, I don't mind you staying in an annual membership for the next 30 years. Here's support's number, 754-300-1084. So give Susie a call and say, hey man, I need to be in Accelerated Retirement or analyze your trade tomorrow and Thursday, because he's going to be talking about double verticals and shit. So Sue, good job doing your bullish double vertical. If you have no idea what that means, give Susie a call. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. God bless. Grab the popcorn, man. I'm gonna enjoy this Tesla stuff, and I don't enjoy seeing people go to jail, but that dude, you're playing with other people's money when you're a CEO like that. So you're welcome, man. All right, guys. God bless, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock for Accelerated Retirement. Okay. Yeah, you bet. We'll see you. Thanks, man.